here.
They each have their individual testimony onto the elements of the criminal enterprise.
Of the criminals, exactly.
Right.
And,
you know what I mean?
And so I get where you're saying, like, okay, the racketeering is the full umbrella of this. So I to answer my question of what I was asking you before, I see the lens of it now. Because before I wasn't getting it. I, for some reason, thought that the sex trafficking was in this as well, and that was the main thing. And then everything kind of spilled out from there.
Yeah, Anthony, I don't know if you're still here. You said something earlier, Anthony, I wanted to touch on. I thought it was an interesting point here. And I want to know why you think this. You said if he gets convicted, you think Trump might pardon him? I was like, wow, that's crazy. I think that'd be a bad look for Trump. But, I mean, you can't rule it out. I was just curious why you think that. If you're still here,
I think that Trump is going to pardon R. Kelly, and I think that Trump will eventually pardon Diddy. I think that they have a personal relationship. I think that Trump listens to the people in his inner circle, and I believe Diddy is close enough to get somebody's ear in that inner circle. And Trump is not running, despite what the title of the room. Oh, okay. Wow, that's funny. It changed. Trump's not running again. It was before, Trump 2028, but he's not running again. So, what can you do to him? It's not going to be any more controversial than Biden pardoning Hunter. And obviously,
the last minute before he crept out, he pardoned his son. And he said he wasn't going to.
Would you agree with Trump pardoning Biden pardoned his son? I did the fact that he said multiple times.
What R. Kelly was ultimately convicted of?
I said it.
He was also convicted of RICO, as a sole
it was the
offender.
same thing. Yeah.
So, I anticipate both of them getting pardoned. Trump has a pardon czar who's part of his circle, African American woman. She happens to be African American. She was convicted of drug charges, and she got the book thrown at her. And, technically, based on the story I heard, she was pretty low level, and she was facing a lot of time, and he pardoned her and made her his pardon czar. And I think that she kind of has some kind of influence, and I don't think Trump gives a damn. The January 6th, that's one of my biggest issues, besides the big beautiful bill, is the blanket pardons for the January 6th. I thought some of those guys needed to sit their ass in jail.
I mean, I know well that he's pardoned. I actually have a woman I know very well in my city that he just pardoned. She was convicted on some federal charges of using charity money for personal purposes and using money that was collected. She was sitting as a judge when this happened, but she was also a city councilwoman. Anyway, she just got pardoned. And I know a few people in his first term that he pardoned. And I don't see him pardoning these two. I don't see it. I don't.
Right. And I was gonna say, I was thinking,
what does he have to gain? I see the other.
I just want.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, none of it just what we. None of it just keep.
Just back up. The one guy I know pardoned during his first term. The one guy I know he pardoned in his first term started this whole rehabilitation thing for guys as they get out of prison, to get them to go to college, and he was, I don't think he just pardoned so willy-nilly, and I know you think he did with January 6th, but I don't see a pardon on these two. We put some money
fair enough, Abby. So Abby, I just want to respond.
Poly Market probably has a money line on this.
Yeah, they probably do. So Abby, a couple of things. Oh man. So you have Kodak Black, who's since gotten in trouble. I think it was his first term. He pardoned him. That's you probably never even heard of Kodak Black. NBA YoungBoy, another. You would never expect Trump to pardon this guy. Pardon NBA YoungBoy as well, and you probably never heard of him. I would be shocked if you're aware of these pardons.
Two
be fair, though,
Larry
they were
Hoover,
both
another example, and Larry Hoover is far more reprehensible than anything. As bad as the charges against Puffy are, Larry Hoover is way worse. So,
to be fair, I think some of I know Kodak Black was a big Trump supporter. In 2020, P. Diddy was not a Trump supporter at all. He even, made some very choice
we also pardoned Lil Wayne.
Everybody, commute or pardon? Did he commute?
Let me say, that's a good question. That's a good question.
I would venture to guess he commuted.
Larry,
For the sake of this discussion, it's anonymous. I'm saying it's anonymous.
It's not this.
No, they're clearly
And
not the same.
Kodak
I
Black
think
was
for the
not
sake of this discussion.
medication.
So let's just go
for the
through
sake
them.
of this
Larry
discussion,
Hoover,
it would be
Hispanic American.
go ahead, Anthony.
No, what I was saying is that for the sake of this discussion, it would just mean that Puffy would be coming home from jail. Now, whether or not it's a pardon or the sentence getting commuted, for the sake of this discussion, I think it's reasonably similar enough that the net result would, pretty much be the same. Puffy would be coming home. But like I said, there's multiple people that he's pardoned that I don't even think you're aware of that. It's not like you mentioned a woman that you personally know and a couple other people that you personally know. He's pardoned some people that would surprise you at.
I don't really have an issue with the J6 ones as much as I have with the Larry Hoover. Like they did 3.5 years. Like we all watched January 6th. I mean, maybe you could argue that some of them could have gotten maybe 5 years, but they did 3.5 years. It wasn't like they got out the next week. So I don't know if he pardons. How much time did you want the January 6ers to do? And if he pardons Diddy, he can't pardon Diddy within the first If Diddy gets pardoned after 8 years in jail, that's one thing, but Trump won't be able to do that. And he sure as shit better not pardon him within the first next 3 years. That's nuts.
So I think Trump shows sympathy to people that have gone through lawfare to a certain degree, and that was the driving issue with the J6 people is he didn't feel like they were afforded due process. However, he probably plays a little bit of favoritism. Kodak Black was a big supporter of his vocally, and look, Puff Daddy came out, he had some very choice words. I got them right here. The number one priority is to get Trump out of office in 2020. He even raised funds for the Biden-Harris ticket. Yeah, he actively campaigned against Donald Trump in 2020. So I wouldn't jump to the conclusion that Trump's going to just automatically pardon the guy.
Joe, can I say something?
Real quick,
He's
Doctor,
not even guilty yet, y'all.
It's just a quick squabble, y'all. So Joe, here's what's up. As it relates to the stuff that you mentioned, Trump can be very forgiving. He was very quick to forgive Elon the first time around. All right. So and then the idea, I want to say it was Rolling Stone articles, the first one that kind of introduced this idea. I thought it was kind of far-fetched when I heard it as well. But there's been multiple sources that, at least that he has access to Trump's ear. So, one, like I said, he doesn't seem to hold grudges. Two, I believe he pardoned Lil Wayne. I believe he pardoned Lil Wayne. And I believe Lil Wayne had said some disparaging things. Okay, commuted. I'm not sure which it was.
I pardoned the woman from that sat in front of the abortion clinic. I know that was a pardon. But again, commutation is different than.
We agree, Abby. But Abby, all right. So
we know what you're saying. We know what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. But Abby keeps calling me the carpet on it, and I'm trying to understand why specifically. Pardon, commute, Puffy comes home. It is what it is.
Turn the lawyer a little bit, Abby.
Anthony, do you want to make it bad? Do you want us out there with you that he would not pardon Diddy?
So, Papa, I have to come looking for you because it could be, at the end of his, current term, Yeah, I don't suggest that he's going to pardon him the day after, God forbid, he gets convicted, or, God willing, he gets convicted, depending on your point of view. I'm not suggesting that, but I would certainly be happy to take that bet.
If he
I
does,
like that Trump.
you want Trump if he pardons Diddy?
I can see that, bro. I ain't gonna lie, I can see it for him.
I like that Trump was bold enough to say that I'll look at the facts. You know what I mean? Like he didn't really have that tone before. Like even with the R. Kelly, like from my understanding, there was some threats towards R. Kelly's life, and his legal team, decided that they were going to submit, a request for pardon because he's, likely to lose his life in this situation. Zero possibility of that's even going to happen.
As he should.
Because
he
the
peed on a 14-year-old.
Period. And so I love that Trump was I love how he uses his words sometimes. He was like, I'll look at the facts, because the facts here are just as egregious. So Anthony, it cracks me up. I'm glad you're laughing too. It cracks me up that you are really, you think that this is a possibility after the facts that have been presented.
Okay, so I'm not speaking.
And I'm looking at a lot of these pardons. A lot of them are securities fraud.
Thank you, Miss Abby.
I just wanted to respond to
Thank you.
Securities fraud. Yeah.
Chris Chrisley. I mean, white collar shit.
I just wanted to respond to. She just spoke to me directly. So Angel, and this is something that happens on Clubhouse all the time. We're talking about ideas here. The idea is whether or not Trump is going to pardon Diddy. It has nothing to do with my personal feelings towards what Diddy is accused of. He hasn't been convicted yet. The nature of his crimes, nothing to do with that. I hate the demonization, the whole holier than thou. We're just talking about an idea. I'm
talking about your idea too, but it was your idea, and I went ahead and I just kind of read a little bit into, some of his pardon. Oh no judgment whatsoever. I'm sorry that you took that as shade. I'm sorry that you took that as shade. There's no shade towards you. You made a very bold statement, in my opinion. So and your opinion was just very loud, in my personal opinion. I just wanted to just, turn that dial down a little bit and say, listen, he specifically said, I'll take a look at the facts. And we know somebody who is in kind of similar, situation, just so happens to be R. Kelly, just so happens to be in the same industry, just so happens to be in the same pool of people, who literally just recently submitted a request for pardon because his life is at risk, right? And he's being put together, we're request trying to get this man's life to be saved, and there is zero possibility for that. Zero.
Angel.
Because of the facts that are involved here. Hold on, let me just finish. If you take a look at some of the facts of those who have been pardoned by him,
no, I think she's actually glitching. Yeah, because
I'm not.
She's not. What are you talking about?
Why they think glitching. I will explain why they think glitching.
I tried
any of them anywhere near
happy to explain why they think glitching.
Stop fighting. Daddy's home.
Responsible. Good to see you too. So, yeah, man.
Daddy's home. So go ahead.
Angel, the idea.
Your sister has spoken for a while.
Angel, the idea that we should pardon him because his life is at risk in prison is a ridiculous one. That's one of the most ridiculous reasons. I think it's one of the most ridiculous reasons I've ever heard lawyers assert that someone should get pardoned.
Anthony,
this idea,
Anthony.
Did someone just use the
what's going on, Adam?
I've been trying to get in for 10 minutes. Y'all been just going back and forth.
Can I intervene too also as well?
How about I land and then everybody?
Right.
So,
Anthony.
Let's get it clear.
I never do, but I think we have.
I'm gonna go after you, doctor.
Hold on one second, you guys. We'll let Anthony finish his little bit, and then I'm gonna go. Who else wants to go there?
We're swallowing. I thought you were supposed to swallow on me. Wait a minute.
Did you follow it? I don't know.
Are we going back to hands?
Hey man, let doctor go before me. I'm the doctor.
Hold on, too many people. I'm just gonna go with Anthony, and then we're gonna ask for the next one.
Anthony does not.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Doctor to me.
Okay. Anyway, so like I said, Angel, the assertion that the reason why he should pardon R. Kelly is because his life is at risk. How about we put him in a secure facility and make sure that nothing happens to him? That would be the answer to that. Not to commute or pardon him. It's just, it doesn't make any sense on the face of it. And I think that when Trump says, instead of him just saying outright, well, that's really not on my radar, I have no interest in doing that, he said, I will look at the facts. That leaves the door open. To act like this is not a possibility, and all I'm asserting is that there's a possibility. All I'm asserting is that both R. Kelly and Puffy have his ear. I think that the thing that both of these cases share that's unique is they're both charged with RICO, and they're the only people on trial. This whole racketeering nonsense and conspiracy, and they're the only people on trial. It's like it has the stink of like lawfare to it.
No, what they have in common is that
okay, I'm sorry. I know I'm triggering somebody. Just 1 second here, please.
Donald Trump did the same.
Let me finish this
and I'm gonna land right here. I'm going to land right here. I'm going to land right here. Fani Willis tried to charge Trump and Giuliani of all people, with RICO. This shit it's out of. So I think he could relate. I think he could understand, the prosecutorial misconduct and overcharging, and he might want to take a look at that.
Amen.
May I speak, please?
No, go doctor. Go.
I got it here. I got
Capital doctor. Capital doctor.
I got Papa.
Capital doctor.
I'm gonna do it really quick. But Adams, go ahead, and then Ricky, and then Papa. I think it is Papa.
And
Yeah.
then let me do that piece with
And then Angel, you can
Anthony.
do this right after. Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Joe,
Matt speaks. When Matt speaks, stay mute. I don't understand. Why is everybody talking?
Yeah, guys.
What happened?
A little bit.
Hey, Sarah, can we please let Angel respond? Because, she got muted,
Okay.
and she was making a point.
Philip,
Quiet.
Matt is running the room. How about everybody mute up, and he's gonna go in the order that people are?
Yeah,
Matt, just don't forget, don't forget Angel. Matt, just don't forget.
This is the deal, guys. If you guys don't mute up when Matt is talking, I'm gonna send you guys down to the audience.
What about
He's being
Sarah?
too nice. He's being too nice.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's go. Adams, and then Angel. Yeah, I'm not gonna forget you. Don't worry about it. You're good. I got you. Just gonna be a little bit delayed a little bit, okay? Adams, and then who was it? Doctor. Responsible. I got you. Don't worry about it.
It's just gonna be after men.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead, Adams.
Yeah. So, I'm absolutely disgusted in some of the sentiment that I'm hearing on this stage. Anthony, I respect you 10 toes down. And, I'm going to choose my words carefully. You've never been in those Southern California situations to have to pick these girls up from freaking 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, reaching out to their best friend from high school, right? To pull them out of a fucking ugly situation, like some of the shit that's on trial through this Diddy trial. You've never been in that situation. I have nieces that are out there, right? Some of them that are starting high school next year. Some of them were in high school applying for college right now. So it's very disheartening that people can't understand that two things can be true at the same time. Diddy is a filthy fucking animal, and Cassie is a dirty ass, dusty, wig-wearing demon. Okay? Two things can be true at the same time. Our children in America are not for sale. So for anybody to advocate the fact that R. Kelly should be let out of jail under any circumstance, okay, I find that to be reprehensible, morally repugnant, okay, and absolutely disgusting, okay? R. Kelly should be in jail. As a matter of fact, let's go to Project 2025. Because, I've always wanted to be halfway in the middle. But now listening to this shit, especially after the Diddy